Welcome guys to another Chat 4.0. It's my pleasure to have here Guilherme Alves and our skin in the game. So Gui, can you please introduce yourself here a little bit? First of all, thank you for participating here with us in the skin in the game. It's a pleasure to have you here. I know you have a very busy agenda. So can you please introduce a little bit about yourself, your school background, your history in Brazil until you get here in US?
Sure. Hey everybody, my name is Guilherme Alves, or just Gui here in US. 37 years old, was born in Curitiba, Brazil. Been working in the automotive industry for almost 12 years now. My background is actually in IT. I started my professional life as a support analyst, so I completed a technical degree in data processing, and I started working right away after high school with IT, and most of my life I spent working with IT. And when I joined the company that I work now, I started as EDI specialist, which is kind of overlaps, is a little bit of IT, a little bit of logistics. And at the point I was starting business management college. I didn't finish that graduation, and after many reasons, some of them were personal choices, some of them were circumstances that were present in my life that forced me to delay and later stop college. And right before coming here, I started another college, same area, so same degree. And it was just a different university. And in the middle of all that, I was transferred to US to work on the same type of job, EDI specialist. And it's something that I've been eager to complete and just get that checkbox. But it has been a rough ride on that sense for the school background. So as I said, I've been working right now as in the automotive industry, and for the past 2 years I've been working as a quality manager. And I'm married. I met my wife Claudia at work, actually, back in Brazil. We've been together for 7 years, almost 8. And some of the things that I like doing when I'm working with quality is I enjoy music very much. I like playing acoustic guitar, electric guitar. My wife also plays and sings. I like motorcycles, although I haven't bought one since I moved to US, which is another thing that I'm eager to do. Muscle cars. I'm a blade collector, so I have knives, swords, axes. I would love to start making them. So pretty soon, that is one of the things that I have in my plans here, is just to put my forge together and start making them. And it's a good way to put quality with my own hands, start doing something that I'll be proud of.
Nice.
So one of the things that I like.
So nice. So you had such a curious school background. You start some different colleges, but you never finish and you never get a degree. So how was that transition from you from Brazil to US, and without that degree, did you get any difficult because of that or not?
Yeah, so there was challenges, right? Everything is more challenging if you don't have that degree. That doesn't mean that I don't have the knowledge or most of the knowledge. I started way back when I was 20 years old. I started computer science. I only did that for 3 months. I realized that was not what I wanted. It was a very theoretical degree, and I wanted something more practical, something more applied to the market, to the work market. And at the same time, I got a job in a very nice company in Brazil. So one thing led to the other, and that was the first time that I decided to abandon college for that reason. Later on, I started another degree in the same university, the Universidade Federal do Paraná, in business management. I was already, at that time, I was already wanting to transition from analyst into a management position. So I decided to start that college graduation to give me that knowledge. And a lot of people start business management because kind of, I'll just do something. I really wanted to do that because it was my intention to use my technical skills, combine them with people management and process management and all that, and become a better leader. And I actually completed 85% of that graduation, and by some personal reasons I needed to postpone that, and as I said, I tried to catch up later, and then I was transferred here in the middle of that. But every promotion that I had was more challenging. I needed to justify, I need to prove myself harder than usually I would need if I had that graduation. So to come here and get the visa and all that, because I had 85% of the degree, for every year that you're missing completion, you're expected to have around 3 years of experience, proven experience. So I need to have like a letter signed by my manager saying that I was performing a job. The roles of my job were equivalent to a graduation level.
Nice.
And I was already acting as a team lead supervisor, reporting directly to the manager, working in a few projects, allocating resources, doing a lot of the pre-studies myself. So there were lots of things I was doing differently that were more than my analyst role that justified that. So I was able to get that visa and make the transition over here.
What can you say? I think you're not wrong. Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, all these guys, Bill Gates, they didn't complete the degree.
I don't dare compare myself to these guys. I mean, we're talking about geniuses.
But you have something in common. No?
I think that the key is you don't give up, right? You just keep pushing and you try to learn. Formal knowledge in college is very, very important, don't get me wrong. But you are only as good as how you can apply that knowledge. So you learning things at your work and applying them and constant learning is very important, and just keep pushing and keep working hard.
This is one thing I think is very nice here in the US. The companies here, they give a lot of prize to the experience, not just about the degree. It's like, I think in Brazil is a little bit different. They start with the degree. Like if you apply for a position, let's say as an engineer, if you don't have the degree, that is the first thing, they will not even, I think they will not even finish to read your CV. And here in the US, they give more importance to your experience. And okay, if you have a degree, okay, that's a plus. But if you have the experience and you don't have the degree, you might be considered for the position in the same way.
Yeah, I think that there's different jobs will have different approaches. Right?
Of course, not for example, for a doctor. I watched 15 seasons of
Grey's Anatomy.
And I can't play as a doctor, of course. But I'd say like in the industry environment, like
but even in engineering, like if your job requires a lot of knowledge to apply on construction, for instance, if you don't have that degree, you won't be hired probably. But if you're talking about like process engineering or working with logistics, you might be able to prove that you have enough knowledge to perform the job in a good way, even not having an engineering like a
degree,
technical degree on engineering itself. And depends on the area that you are. I think that where we are here right now in the south of US, you have less people with college degrees than you have up north, for instance. So in the types of industry that are more common here, they are much more, we have a lot of logistics things going on here. And again, it's not to say that it's not important, but you can kind of get away with it if you can prove that you have the knowledge and you can actually apply and make it work. But again, it's an extra challenge, and there's enough challenges in your life already, so you don't need that level.
So you came here to US to work with EDI as an EDI specialist, and now you are a quality manager, so such a different position, I'd say. So how was that journey from EDI specialist to quality manager for you? And how long it takes to get there?
Yeah, so I got here in US I started working at the company that I work right now in January 4th, 2016, so almost 5 years ago. And there were intermediate steps to that journey. So after about 1 year, 8 months, I believe, there was a quality engineer position open. And again, if you're going to be a quality engineer in a factory, you need an engineering degree, because you'll be talking about a lot of you need to understand the materials that you're using, the functionality of that part very specifically, and it's much more specific. But working in an aftermarket warehouse, the quality engineering is more about compliance and process. And EDI is pretty much that. EDI has a lot to do with compliance. You have very clear and very specific guidelines that tell the partners that are exchanging messages how that message should be composed to the position of every letter. So when you have an error, you need to check those guidelines compared to the message and see where the problem is, and then work towards a resolution. Same thing with the transport labels, for instance. So I was I was always very process oriented, coming from IT, and very like problem solving guy from the beginning. I always worked with support. I worked a little bit with programming in the past, but it was mainly support. So it's basically root cause analysis and finding a solution for the problem. So the mindset was already there. I just needed to gain experience and knowledge on the functions that I was supposed to start working with. So I became quality engineer and started learning a lot. My manager at the time was very supportive in the sense of education. So again, it was formal education, not college, but there were lots of training, lots of courses that I completed, certifications, to gain that knowledge, and then immediately start applying that into the job that I was performing. And after it was 1 year and a half on that position, or actually 1 year only on that position, I took over operations manager acting role for about 6 months. That was coordinating a team of 70 people. And that was my first managing people experience on that level. So I had supervisors, leads, and operators under me. Very challenging, but my transition into that position was connected to my quality engineer job, because I took over the team that I was working closely, learning their processes, interviewing people, trying to find improvements. So I kind of learned a lot of things that I needed to learn.
And learn on the fly.
Exactly, and on the fly and on the floor, like where the thing's happening. So basically a lot of observation, time studies, interviewing, listening a lot, and trying to put all the pieces together, and then learning the systems and seeing who are the stakeholders for that process and all that. And so process-wise, I was very comfortable with that change, but it was very challenging to manage people. It was a big jump. That was a big jump. In my previous assignment in Brazil, I had a team of 8 people that I was leading, and I went from a lead of 8 people to a manager of 72 actually. So it was a big jump, and it was a bumpy road in the beginning. But as I said, you need to push through. You need to be humble and to learn from your mistakes. You need to understand and accept feedback that is given to you, and then apply that. And I still have a lot to learn, but it's been very rewarding as well. And then after 6 months, there was a reorganization in the company here, and because of my quality background, I was invited to go back to the quality team, but as a quality manager instead of engineer, and it's been 2 years so far. So basically in 5 years in this place, I had 4 different jobs, which is very, very dynamic for the company that we work for.
Yeah,
it's not usual.
So for you as a quality manager, can you define quality? What is quality for you?
For me, quality is simple. Is doing the right thing the right time. Is following the process. Is following the guidelines. Is knowing what is expected by your customer. So even internally, every process has an internal customer, and then you have your real customer at the end of the chain. You need to know what they expect, and you need to comply to that within what is agreed and what is reasonable. So a lot of people think of quality like extra work is actually the only work. You need to do it right, and you need to do it at the right time with the proper tools, following the right process to get the best outcome, which is the outcome that the customer is expecting.
Yeah. So you say like you had a transition from you used to manage a small team in Brazil, and then you came here and you start to manage like a big team, like over 70 people. So what challenges did you get when you start to manage a team like that? And for you as leader, today you are a leader and you're managing people. What is managing people? What do you think that every leader should have to perform in a good way, or maybe something that you had to develop yourself once you get that in a position as a manager? Like say, I need to, let's say for me, for example, I had to learn how to be patient and take care with my words before talk with people. Mm-hmm. So how was that transition challenge for you?
I think one of the biggest challenges is, especially when you take over a team, you're not promoted from within. A lot of people see you as an outsider. So breaking that wall and getting their trust is a challenge, but is needed and is rewarding when you finally do it. And the way that I did it is I enjoy talking. I learn a lot by listening to people and then share what I know with them. I think that this creates this engagement, this proximity. The challenge that I had was the other one. So it was kind of the opposite of you. Being in a senior management position, you need to know when it's time for you to stop talking and take action, when you need to shy away from certain conversations and just get things done. I was always a go-getter, so another challenge that I had was, and I'm still working on that, by the way, is how to remove myself from things that are very tactical and focus more on the strategic. And that answers the question how to motivate my team, which is again something that I know what needs to be done and I'm working on it, but I'm not there yet. It's just quite a new experience for me. A lot of people that been on this Chat 4.0 interviews, they've been working in leadership for many years, and I've been doing that for basically almost 3 years now. So I'm learning to challenge and trust people more. I think that's very crucial, that you just don't do it for them and then okay, here it is, now we just keep it going. Even if you know how to do it, you shouldn't just say do this and do that. You need to make them ask the questions. You need to guide them to ask the right questions and then guide them to find the answers, and that's the way that they learn. If I tell them how to do it, they will learn that day. They'll forget the next day. Yeah. But if they find out how to do it, it drives their motivation because they feel that they accomplished something, that they conquered something. And they learn that in a much more retaining way. They keep that knowledge for much longer. And then they use the experience to do the same thing to other people.
Like we used to say in Brazil, you don't give the fish, you teach how to fish. Yeah, nice. So we talk a lot about Lean here on the Chat 4.0 also, and I'm pretty sure you apply Lean together with quality. For me, quality and Lean, they walk together in the same street. So what is Lean for you, and how do you see that being applied?
For me, Lean is learning. I think that the key word is learning. You need to learn new ways. Sometimes you're gonna need to study similar places, similar companies, similar facilities within the same company that had different levels of quality and of efficiency, and see how you can adapt those things to your own facility. Sometimes you're going to need to find your own way. And when I say you find your own way, is basically having your team finding that way with you. So I think learning is key. You need to learn by observation, by listening to people, and you need to teach them. Everybody has knowledges in different areas. Nobody is a complete ignorant on everything. I mean, a doctor knows a lot about the body, the human body, and all that. A mechanical engineer will know a lot about moving parts, metal parts, and components, and how they are put together and how far they can go. A quality person will know a lot about how to make things in a certain way that the customer is going to get what they want from a quality perspective. A logistics engineer will know a lot about the process and the times that each step takes. And if you put those people together, they teach each other if they're willing to learn, if they're willing to listen, and that's how they grow. And those are the people that are going to drive the improvements, because with that newly gained knowledge, you see things in a different way, and you try different things, and you test, and you keep doing it. And I think it's very important as well to not be afraid to fail when you're trying things, when you're testing things. Dare yourself, dare your team, allow them to fail, and learn from the mistakes. A lot of people are scared of failing. Of course, if you have a process that is well established and people are deviating from the process and creating problems, it is a problem. But if you're trying to improve that process, in the process of improving it, you are allowed to try and to fail and not achieve your results at the first time. You just keep pushing.
Yeah, I agree. So, how old are you now?
37.
No, not how many years you're working. How old are you? I'm joking. So you have a lot of experience already for your age. So you probably start to work very young. But if you could return when you were 18 years old, what advice you give to yourself, and if you should do something different, and if you have any advice for the young guys that are just finishing the high school and they have the idea to work with quality or EDI or whatever, what advice you give to us?
Well, I have a few, and if you don't think that you made mistakes when you were young, then you either didn't do enough, or you're not thinking about yourself and trying to understand yourself well enough. The first one will be finish college. Do that, because although I managed to grow in my career a little bit, it would be much easier if I had that. And maybe I will be in a different position today, who knows. I'm happy where I am, and with the things that I learned, the things that I do, and where I can be in the near future. But it could be different, and definitely will be easier. Another one is stay humble. Just because you think you know everything about something doesn't mean that you really know. You never know everything that you need to know. To the day that I die, I need to be learning something. I will only learn when I quit. I only stop learning when I quit. And you shouldn't quit, right? Well, there's a breath of air in me. You keep learning, and it could be about anything, right? About something completely outside of your work. You just get interested in something new, and you read about it, and you watch videos on YouTube. Right now, it's so easy to get instruction on these things and knowledge. So keep learning and be humble. Always listen to other people. Listen to the people that perform the job, because they know what needs to be known. And you might think that you know more about something, and you might actually do it. Still respect their time, their knowledge, and their opinion. And if needed, show them. Try it and show them why one is better than the other, to get their buy-in, and they will be spreading that knowledge later on. And the third one is keep your mind open. sometimes we trace a route in our heads when we're younger and say, oh, when I'm 20 I want to be doing this, when I'm 25 I want to be doing that, and when I'm 30 I want to be doing this. Different challenges will come, and most of the times things will not go according to your plans. Adapt.
So keep life.
Yeah. It happens, right?
Yeah.
So adapt and keep striving. Nobody's gonna give you what is yours. You're gonna need to get it.
Yeah.
So, if I was saying that to myself when I was 18 years old, I would say, find a way to finish college. Make better choices and ask for help during tough times, and different circumstances will arise. Don't try to fight the entire world by yourself. Ask for help. Keep humble, keep learning, and keep an open mind about challenges in the future. These are all opportunities for you to grow and to achieve success ultimately.
Definitely good advice not just for the young guys, but I think for everybody. I would say we never stop to learn, so yeah, that's a good advice. Where do you see the automotive industry in the next 5 to 10 years? Like, we have many different technologies coming on, so where do you see it, especially when we talk about quality?
I think that the industry itself is always going to be pushing for more efficiency. It's just a natural course. You need to do more with less, and we need to deliver better products or better services. So that is definitely going to be a key factor. And quality used to be, having good quality used to be a differential. Right now is just a requirement. You can't survive if you can't improve your quality and deliver better quality. And every time that you have a new product coming, there's a new cycle, right? You will have a few mistakes, and you have that maturity curve that you need to go through. So quality is very important in that sense. It's always going to be necessary, but it's more and more connected to the operation. Is not a quality problem. Is whoever's actually doing the job that needs to be concerned with quality. And in general, I think the automotive industry is going to be moving towards autonomous, like auto-driving cars and trucks and all that, and electromobility. I don't see that in 10 years is going to be a complete shift and the combustion engine will be dead. But it's definitely, we're going to see a trend up in electromobility and in self-driving cars. Technology is there. And it's going to be, I think it's going to be very exciting, and it's going to be challenging. We're going to need to find new ways of doing things better and better, and it's just, it's part of life, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, nice, and definitely I'm excited too. So we are getting the end here, Gui. The last question that we have, if you have a book to advise us, maybe a book you read and say, okay, this is something that everybody should read.
There's one book that was really important to me. It's called Power of Habits, and I can't remember the name of the author, but
we can get that later. I'll put the name of the book and the author on everything here on the YouTube subscriber, so there's no problem.
Yeah, and it's I have that book. You can actually, you have digital, you have the actual book, and it's audible as well, so you can actually listen to the book. It's a really good book. It helped me a lot during this. I was reading this book right when I was beginning this challenge, so it was helpful for me to understand how I built my own habits and how I could change them for my own benefit. So nice. The book itself is very focused on the corporate world, but you can apply that to your personal life as well.
Nice. Gui, thank you very much for participating here in the Skin in the Game with us in Chat 4.0. It's a pleasure to have you here. For sure, you brought a lot of nice content for us. You had such different experience and a lot of challenge in your career, in your life, and for sure you are an example for us. So thank you again for participating here with us.
Yeah, thank you. It's my pleasure, my honor, and I hope that you guys liked it and I think there's this is very nice program that you have. Give the opportunity for people to hear these stories, and like common people. Like, it's not the CEO of Google that is people that are like their neighbor. They live next door. So I think it's nice, and I really appreciate the invitation. As I said, it's a pleasure and an honor.
Definitely, everybody always have something to share, and that's a channel to everybody here. Guys,
Right.
Thank you very much. See you in the next one.
See you guys.